Your day and welcome. You're tuned into the action. This is the Reservoir Sporting Club podcast, where locals talk sport, stories, and legends in the making.
All right, guys, and welcome back to the Reservoir Sporting Club podcast. We are in for a huge week ahead. I have been joined again by their head coach, Steve Kristevsky, who I've actually had the balls big enough to have a crack at that name again this week. Steve, welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Daz, and that was spot on, mate. Really well done.
I'm getting better. To be honest, I probably couldn't have got worse at some of the names. Mate, you must be excited. I'm going to keep you online for 10 minutes, and then we've got Troy Lang, your women's coach, on after you. You've had the luxury of a bye week. What did you do on your bye round?
So we trained during the week as per normal. So just, Tuesday, Thursday, and then I actually went away for the weekend. And a few of the boys went and watched Watsonia and Lorimer, and then, basically today I've just sort of gone through all the vision and started to put together some oppo notes.
Well, you've got off to the perfect start in round one on Good Friday against Laylor. You sit atop of the ladder going into this round. So you take on Watsonia, though. It's very difficult, isn't it, when you take on a side that one has come down, they've had a bit of turnover, and now they're trying to work out where they're fit. They can be a bit scary, those sides, can't they?
Yeah, definitely. Looking at the vision today, they're going to definitely throw some challenges at us on Saturday. So, we've got to be mindful of that. Even though we had a really solid performance round one, we can't get too ahead of ourselves, and that's been the message right through pre-season. That we'll take it 1 week at a time, and as I said, Watsonia are going to throw some different challenges. As they're young, they're excited, they're getting their opportunity at senior level. So when that sometimes tends to happen, is these kids run with it. So we've definitely got to be on our game on Saturday.
100%. We'll talk about Watsonia in a minute, but let's go back to your Laylor game for just 1 minute. 102-point winners in round one. You would have been very, very impressed. Listed on best on ground. Not sure if it's by you or it's by the league, but you had James Tad was listed in the best, along with Nicholas Milisaris, if I pronounced that correctly, Salvatore Mamone, Joshua Grabowski, and Wilson O'Flynn and Al Moasi. They're guys you'd expect to be in your best every week. Who was the standout for you? Was it James Tad? Because I heard amazing things about him.
Yeah, Taddy was, I think in my article with Ben through the Herald Sun, the way Taddy starts the game is the way he finishes the game in terms of, his intensity around the footy, rolls up his sleeves, gets to work. So, yeah, he was, I thought he was our clear best. Then Nicholas Milanaris was really good around the footy as well. We've changed Joshy's role this year, Grabowski, so he's got a bit more freedom the way we're playing him. So, he was pretty solid. And also James Elmasali, we've also changed his role too, so gave him a little bit more freedom up the ground to get involved. So, definitely pleased with the guys who played really well. But I think when you win by 102 points, it's just such a team performance, and that's what I was more proud of, how we come together as a team so early on in the season.
Yeah, I have a look at the scoreboard, and it's fair to think that you guys didn't take your foot off the pedal either. You decided to push it the whole way forward. In your last quarter, you kicked 4 goals, 7. So that tells me you weren't letting up, that you guys were determined to go out and get every bit of percentage you could. Is that a fair call?
Yeah, it is. It's not so much about the percentage. It's more about the processes. So we want to be a team this year that plays the full 120 minutes. I don't want to have lapses in quarters where, teams are able to get a hold of you for 5-6 minutes and all of a sudden you find yourself behind the 8 ball. So my big emphasis over pre-season and, at the start of the game was to play the full 120. So, and I thought we got that against Laylor. Which was pleasing. So regardless of, I'm not too worried about the scoreboard. The scoreboard will take care of itself. Mm-hmm. It's more about our processes and what we want to achieve on the day. And it's playing that, playing to the last to the last siren. That's what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, 100%. And that makes sense. Do you envisage many changes? Did you have any injuries out of the game that you need to?
We've got probably 3 back this week. So Levi should be back. Lancey was laid out just with illness, so he should be back. And then Mark Ferraro as well, who went away for over the Easter break. So he's one of our one of our better players as well. So we've got some really strong ins for this week, which is and it's going to make it harder selection, but that's the nature of the job. So we've got to make those hard calls, which is a good thing to have.
Of course, 100%. So going into this game against Watsonia, how much time have you had to spend on vision going into this week already?
So I'll probably spend about 4 hours today, 4 or 5 hours, in terms of going through the whole game, stopping it, starting it, writing some notes down, and then going over the whole game, and then basically writing my notes, and then going over my notes, and then making sure that they're all good, and I'm happy with them. So we'll do that on the Thursday, go through that with the playing group, send it to the coaches first, let them have a look at it, and then I'll go through it with the players on Thursday. But it takes probably about 4 to 5 hours, I guess, on the opposition.
Quite a big commitment. And what goes through your mind now, Cameron Cloakes, if he's on big time, and they're certainly looking at him as a tall forward. Who's likely to start on Cameron Cloak?
Well, we're not sure at the moment. The guy who did the job on Rexepi round 1 was Steve Smith, so he might get first crack. He did the job on Rexepi round 1. So I haven't actually said who's going to play on him as yet, but more likely than not, probably Steve Smith. As I said, he did the job, so we'll give him first crack most likely on the weekend.
And you've got a few guys that can play on him, in all honesty, so you'll be able to chop and change accordingly. I like that you said that you're letting your players play a few different roles, like Grubber this year as well. What is his role this year? Can he just go up and down as freely as he wants? Is that the thought process?
I think when you get a player of his calibre, you sort of, he's smart enough to position himself, around stoppage or where he feels his best fit. So you sort of leave that up to him, and then if we don't like where he's setting up, we can obviously send the runner out. But generally speaking, I just sort of leave it up to him and just say go and get to work. As I said, when you have a player of his calibre, he's played a fair bit of Division 1 and VFL footy, and he's just so quick in terms of across the ground. So it's more just left up to him in terms of where he sets up.
Okay. What was your surprise packet out of your first round? Who not necessarily, who exceeded your expectations in that first game? Because it's hard when you start the season. You're not sure how it's going to look in real game time situations. So who sort of went slightly above your hopes in round 1?
Look, we sort of knew that Sal was going to be a pretty good recruit for us in terms of our small forwards, but he had 9 shots at goal.
Mm-hmm.
So to have 9 shots at goal was a pretty good return when he had last season off.
Yes.
So he probably exceeded expectations.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, he could have ended up with kicking 7.
Yeah, he kicked 4. So it's pretty good.
Sal would probably be the one that really was like super on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, 100%. Aaron Edwards kicking 6 isn't a bad day at the bank either, is it?
Oh, it's not. And and as I said to Mickey T, like Aaron will kick his fair share of goals, but it's how do we support him in that though? We can't be relying on last year he kicked 72 and our next best was 29. Like we need to bridge that gap. Like Aaron will probably end up still kicking over 50, but we want someone to be a bit closer. And our forward mix with Sal and Azza and Josh Grabowski and Dean Jeffries and Tyle. Like there's just so many avenues to goal now. We're not just relying on Aaron to kick his 6 or 7 every week. Like we've got different avenues to goal.
We had 9 goal kickers in round 1, and you've got to be happy with that as a coach because that's exactly what you're talking about, isn't it? Spreading it around. Yeah,
definitely, and that's how you become more potent as well forward of the ball when you've got so many options that you can go through. Even Grabowski didn't even hit the scoreboard. So, we've just got so many options. We've been able to build that, but it's also playing to our forward structure as well, where guys are given clear roles of what we expect of them forward of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And the most pleasing thing was we had 124 ground ball gets. Like that was not Reservoir last year at all. So once the ball hit the deck, we had representation on the ground, and we also scored 14 goals, 9 from turnovers.
Wow.
Like that's unbelievable.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And was that something you planned pre-season? Is it something you worked on and identified as a weakness and where you needed to improve?
Yeah, definitely. That's one area. Our ground ball, especially inside 50, was non-existent last year, and teams were able to get a hold of us from our front half.
Yep.
So, we've gone to work on that, and also scores from turnover. I think that's probably one of the most crucial stats in the game, is how you can hurt the opposition on turnover. Where last year teams were kicking 14 goals against us. Now we've been able to reverse that, and we've scored 93 points off turnover. So,
wow.
And as I said, it's only round one, but you can only play who's in front of you, and from round one, it was a really good performance.
Well, I think when we have this chat in a week's time and you've come up against an outfit like Watsonia that's come down from Division 2, it wouldn't read tons into the Division 1 because they were with them for the first half. They were with Lorimer for half a game, and, those guys need to get used to playing with each other also. So I think it'll be a quality game. You'll go in favourite, so you've got to love that. You've gone into your first 2 games as favourite, but it's a long season, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, definitely. It's, as I said, like we just want to look at it a week at a time, and we only won 6 games last year, Daz. So we're not there yet.
Yep.
There's a lot to improve on, and there's a lot to gain, and slowly when we keep working to what we're trying to achieve, and the wins will take care of themselves as long as we're sticking to our processes, sticking to our game plan. I think it'll hold us in good stead.
I think you're 100% spot on. Well, I'm going to let you go. Thank you. We always run over because I can't stop speaking to you. I can speak footy all day. I am about to get Troy on the line. Is there anything I should be asking Troy? Tell me a little bit of dirt on Troy.
Yeah, I don't know. He's pretty. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
He's pretty good, Troy, with the women's and what they've been able to build this year, especially. So. I don't really have any dirt on him, to be honest.
Terrible coaching there, Steve. I'm going to give you a fail on that one. I will speak
Sorry,
to
Dave.
you. I will speak to you next week. Have a great game this weekend and look forward to our catch up next week as usual.
Beautiful. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
As we know, none of this happens without these amazing sponsors, so I want to take this opportunity to quickly play them, but don't go too far. This episode is proudly brought to you by Gravina Developments, specialising in residential and small-scale commercial projects, from multi-unit developments and townhouses to office buildings and factory construction. Whatever your project, Gravina Developments can help. Find them at gravina.com.au. Also brought to you by Nelson Alexander Reservoir. Real estate, their property experts are ready to help. Contact an agent today. They stand for the highest levels of professional conduct within the real estate industry. Experience the difference. Call them on 9469 1000. And finally, Elmo's Burgers. James came back to Melbourne wanting to do one thing: keep it simple. Focus on the beef, served on Martin's potato buns with their signature Elmo's sauce. The menu stays tight so the quality stays high. Organic, hand-pressed. That's it. Find them at 350 St George Road, Fitzroy North. The very, very best.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Reservoir Sporting Club podcast. I have women's coach joining us for the first time this year, Troy Lang. Troy, welcome to the show.
How's it going? Good to be here.
Mate, I am pretty excited to speak to you for a couple of reasons, because Reservoir women's side has been the talk of the off-season, let me tell you, and, having your own podcast this year at Reservoir, thanks to your sponsors, which we'll put a little plug in shortly. It's really going to be a special year for Reservoir this year. I mean, you've got to win. You've got 4 points in the bag already, taking care of Reservoir, so you kick 3-12-30 to Fitzroy Stars 4-1-25. This is that was a pretty exciting first win for you guys to get that out of the way. Let's start there. What did you think about that win?
Oh, no, that was a super win by the girls. The game was tight all day. We couldn't get a goal on the board for a while, but it wasn't from a lack of opportunity. So we just went in at half time. We hadn't scored a goal. We just knew once we scored that first goal that the real momentum would shift in that game, and we thought we were pretty confident of being able to get over the line.
And to give
as
the
long as we
listeners
defended that third quarter, which was the goal, and that's what we did.
To give the listeners a bit of background, the score at quarter time was Fitzroy Stars 2 goals straight, 12 to Reservoir 0-2. At half time, Fitzroy Stars were 3-1-19 to 0-7 points. 7. 3/4 time, you found it. You got one in the third, took you to 110-16, leaving you 3 points behind Fitzroy Stars at 3-1-19, and then came home with a wet sail, kicked two goals, to finish on 3-12-30. Fitzroy Stars, who are a fair income opposition too, 4-1-25, but 15 scoring shots to 5. It would be easy to say you might have been able to get the job done a little bit quicker with some accurate quick kicking, but you can only play with what you've got, can't you, Troy?
Yeah. We felt we had control. We kept them scoreless in the third quarter, which was one of the aims. And we had the ball in our forward half. Well, it would have been 65, 70% of the game almost, I reckon. So it was just, kick some goals instead of points, and,
it worked out.
I don't think the scoreline fully replicated what the game was, but it was still a tough, very highly competitive game, as you always get against Fitzroy.
Mickey Thompson, our guy, was there.
Just a win.
Mickey Thompson, our guy, was there, and he said yous were very impressive and very unlucky to have a scoreline of 110 at 3/4 time.
Oh, it was a bit windy. We weren't really getting clean shots on goal. But, I wouldn't say unlucky. I mean, bad kicking's bad football. But, the amount of ball that we had in there, we felt we could still deliver that through the game. It was just sort of a matter of time once we get that first goal, and then everyone lives a little bit after that, and we can get a couple more. So
100%.
We were able to do that, which was pleasing to do against reigning grand finalists, especially from where we come from last year.
No, 100%. Let me ask you about your players. Listed in the best online was Nicole Hales, Terry McIntosh, Charlotte Vanderviles, Raquel Rocco, Piper Joyce, and Imogen Milford. Who was your surprise packet for you on the night? There's always one that sort of has a game that you didn't necessarily see coming, or did it go the way you thought it would?
Look, we made a move with Terry in the second half. We moved her back from a wing, and I hadn't even thought of her as a defender. She told me she was a half forward on-baller type.
Mm-hmm.
And we moved her back, and she took 3 or 4 contested intercept marks, and could just read the play. Simple as that. And she said, I can go back there. I can read the ball well. She didn't tell me that till after the game, though, so that was a pleasant surprise. Raquel Rocco played her actual first game of football ever.
Really? And in the best?
Ever, yeah. She's picked it up really quick. She's got a basketball background from years back, the Scott Pendlebury story, but she hasn't really played much competitive sport in recent years, but she just rolled up first night of pre-season, wanted to give it a crack, and, she's coordinated, and she's got a bit of speed, and she's got a bit of physicality about her. She can stand up in tackles, which you don't get with a lot of beginner female footballers.
Sure.
And she was really good. Like, she'll be a stopper for us this year, I think, going forward.
Yep.
On dangerous forwards. Yeah.
And you had 3 different goal kickers, which gives you a little bit of comfort that there's a few that can kick goals in the side as well. There's been a lot of talk about Reservoir in the off-season, that you've recruited very well and people have come to the club, but a lot of people spread pretty wide this year as women's football settle. It says on here that you only named 17 going into the game. Did you have more players than that on the game?
Yeah, so we had a few who were unavailable because of the long weekend.
Okay.
And then a few of our VFL signees weren't approved to play either. So, I think we only played 17. 18, 17? Yeah, 17 I think it was. And that was with one of the netballers on the day just deciding that she'd help us out and fill a spot on the bench for us. So,
How good is that?
yeah, really good. Like, we didn't expect that. And we needed rotations as well. It's such a tough game playing against Fitzroy. Just the physicality of the game takes the stuffing out of you in our first game of the year. So,
100%.
but yeah, going forward, we should have a close to full team every week, where last year we were playing with 13, 14, 12. Like, just to have one person on the bench is pretty new to us.
Yep. No, that was nice.
Yeah, we're happy to get those numbers for sure.
Now, the fixture isn't updated yet online. Do you know who you're playing this week yet?
No idea.
No.
Which is a bit, it's a bit average, but it is what it is. Every other club's in the same boat, but no, we don't know.
Okay.
So,
Sorry, yeah. Will you have a few players come back this week, Troy? Have you got a few more available? Will you be able to take in a bigger side into this week?
yeah, we'll have a couple of girls come back who couldn't play last week because of the long weekend.
Yes.
There'll be a couple who've gone away for a couple of weeks now, so it'll sort of be about even again, probably 19, 20.
Yep.
Which is probably what you want. 6 on the bench can be really hard to manufacture.
Sure.
In sort of shorter games, especially like if you're playing Division 3 at 15-minute quarters, having 6 on the bench would be a nightmare. But,
yep.
Yeah. So I think we're looking at a full team this week, hopefully.
Great.
Or very close to.
So let me ask you, why did you take this role on, and what will be a pass mark for you this year for this group?
Oh, look, we're looking to play finals. We're able to knock off probably the favourites at the moment in round one. There's no reason why we can't play finals with the team that we have, that we're going to have every week.
Yes.
That's our aim. Like, there's 10 teams, there's 5 spots, so
makes sense, doesn't it?
It's going to be a really close Division 2 this year.
I agree with you.
There's not going to be many easy games. We come from Division 3 last year, and there was such a gap from top to middle to bottom. This year, there could be almost 8, 9 teams playing for 10 spots. So it's like you've got to win those games, those close ones, like we did the other day. You've got to win those games, or it's almost a 2-game swing. So, yeah, we're looking to play finals, and then from there, you just got to make it.
Yep, everything resets, doesn't it?
Get your 11 wins to get top 3, whatever. Just keep plugging along and get the wins on the board.
Now, just for the fans that listen to the Reservoir podcast, tell me in our final minute, why did you take this coaching role, and what's your attraction to it, and how much you enjoying it?
Oh, I love it. I'm a footy nappy, so
we all are.
Everything I do is pretty much footy. So I'm also coaching the thirds that we start this Friday.
Oh, right.
We're meant to
Excellent.
start last Friday, but the other team forwards. I'm also coaching and playing in that. During the week, when school starts, I umpire all during the week.
Good on you.
Just at some of the schools around. I'm out in the west.
We've just Troy there. I'm going to try and reconnect him. His line's just dropped out. Stay with me for 1 second. We'll have another crack at this. He's working away at the same time. You're back, Troy.
Sorry, mate. My son called and I hung up on the wrong person.
No, that's all right. Always take family first. Just in the last 30 seconds, you've confirmed you're a footy nuffy. You're also coaching the thirds and playing in the thirds and umpiring. Yep. I think you're crazier than me. I thought I was the world's biggest footy tragic.
Oh, no, I'm shocking. Like this weekend with not having any footy to go to and the winter weather, I didn't really leave the couch, even though half the games weren't watchable. But
I should have dragged you down to commentate some games with me.
Yeah, I was going to go watch one of the women's games, but I had a 3:30 appointment with something else yesterday, so they cut that right out. But,
that's good. Enjoy the break when you can take them, Troy.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I said this will be the last one. So,
well, you
every
enjoy
other
the
week
break. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to let you go so we can keep the podcast under 30 minutes. I've spoken to Stevie K just before. I tried to get some dirt on you. He had absolutely nothing for me. Maybe Nick Cosmos will give me something in the back end, and we look forward to speaking to you regularly about how you're going with the women's and the third side as well.
Yeah, no, it'll be a busy year. But, that's how we like it.
It's definitely going to be busy, mate. It's definitely going to be busy, but it's all for a good cause. Thanks heaps for coming on, Troy, and we look forward to speaking to you next week.
No worries. Thank you.
See you, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's a wrap for this week's Reservoir Sporting Club podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Quick reminder, the games this week, 11:55 a.m. The reserves take on Watsonia at Chris Park, followed by the seniors at 2:10, same venue, Chris Park. And don't forget, get down to the women's also at Chris Park this weekend, 3 p.m. As they take on West Preston. Get behind a fantastic club, and thanks for listening in, and we look forward to speaking to you next week.
Your day and welcome. You're tuned into the action. This is the Reservoir Sporting Club podcast, where locals talk sport, stories, and legends in the making.